Good morning, guys. Welcome to Wednesday and our adventure today with the COVID stuff. So, let me know how you're doing in the comments below. I appreciate you being here. I know this is a stressful time, and I hope that I'm able to contribute some direction and guidance to your own experience, your own well being. Let me get this shared out to the community. If you're interested or looking for a safe haven, a home where you're supported and protected, and you're given guidance on how to break through and break free of codependency and trauma, join the community. The link is above on Facebook, it's below on YouTube, and if you're seeing me on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, because I release new episodes about 3 times a week. Okay, guys, so let's jump in here. This morning, this new layout drives me crazy because it takes all the information away, right? Because I use the information I post as a reference point. All right, so sanity check. We're going to be talking about how we can create a miracle or two in your life right now. Plus, I want to have a little discussion about anxiety, okay? So let's talk about that anxiety right now. I'm a guy who's lived with anxiety most of his life. Anxiety is a physical sensation. You know, I used to think it was all in my head, right? Just this frantic thought thing going on. But in reality, it's a physical experience. And one of the things that kept me really locked in the cycle of anxiety was this belief that what I was feeling would never end, which created more anxiety about what I was feeling, right? Well, if you let yourself click into the reality of, hey, what I feel isn't going to last forever. This is going to end. It actually ends faster, right? Because funny thing about anxiety is it's kind of like putting your thumb on the end of a hose that's running some water, right? And you know how it gets really strong and it sprays everywhere and it gets more intense and it's just everywhere? Yeah. Anxiety is like that thumb causing all those emotions and intensity to go everywhere. You let your thumb up off the hose, it just relaxes and it just, pours out in its ploppy little way. Well, realizing that the sensations you're feeling in your body aren't going to last, they won't last because they come in waves. You become free to just observe and let go. That's one of the biggest secrets to somatic regulation is just simply the observation of the sensation and watching it rise and crest and then fall without you doing anything. Because this is built into you. It's built into your body. Your body already knows how to process its own emotions. It's your brain that hasn't been trained to make the space to allow it to do what it's going to do. So if you are dealing with anxiety during this time, which I suspect you are, because I certainly am, and most of us are, because a lot of uncertainty, practice allowing yourself to be aware of and feel the sensations in your body with that anxiety peaking and roll and dropping. It's going to roll. And what's really cool is it does that, you get bigger and it gets smaller so that anxiety doesn't overwhelm you so much. It gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And suddenly, it's not overwhelming you. And that allows you to become creative. And this is where we bridge into with today's major topic, creating a miracle or two in your life. Now, I'm a believer in synchronicity. I am a believer in the idea that I can directly influence my well-being by being open and creative and receptive. Okay? So, in the Brilliance Mastermind that I teach after the happiness strategy, I teach people how to do a process called choose and receive. If you've been a follower of New Age thinking or law of attraction, things like that, or even in religious dogma, there's this ask and receive concept. I really never found that to work for me. Because when I asked and I started waiting and seeking and trying to get it and, fear that it's not going to work and blah, 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 never really panned out for me. But life really started to change when I decided to choose what I want and then open up to receiving it. That was the magic of it. I didn't need to ask and wonder if it was going to be accepted. I simply chose what kind of experience I would like to enjoy, and then I opened up to receiving it. So let's talk a bit about how this actually works, so it's not such a magical thinking woo-woo concept, because it's actually quite a very practical system. The first step in this is choose, or the choice, right? I tend to choose on joy as much as possible. If I'm looking at something I'd like to have in my life, I want something that feels good. I want something that feels empowering. I want something that feels nurturing and expansive for me. Well, joy is typically what aligns me with that, right? Or joy is aligned with that kind of experience. So if I'm thinking about something or an experience I'd like to have, I listen to how much joy it has in my body. You know, how responsive is my body to this? What's the level of joy? Because if it's kind of like, I don't want this, then I'm not really going to choose it. But if it's like, yeah, I would love to have that, that would be exciting to experience, I'd feel joy in that, then I'm going to receive that. I'm going to choose that. So let's say it's, a lot of us are going to be stressed about money, and this really works well with money as well. Because I've manifested, I've been synchronized and created a lot of money because of this approach, as well as a lot of my students. When they focus on money, they tend to receive it. So let's say I choose, I don't know, $4,000 or something, right? If $4,000 feels joyful to me, that's that the experience of having $4,000 feels joyful to me. I receive that. I'm going to receive the experience of having $4,000. Notice, not getting, not spending. It's about having. So I want to have money. I want to have $4,000. Boom, let's have that. Now, I pay attention how my body feels with it. Okay, there's a sensation that arises with the idea of having $4,000. It relaxes, it gets curious, it gets playful. I smile. Sensation of warmth and openness and a deeper rest comes in. So, okay. And I also listen for the joy. And I do. I feel that joy right in the center, right in the center. So, right center of my chest, boom. I'm going to embrace that and enjoy that. This leads me to the next step, which is receiving. Now, receiving, a lot of people move from choosing something to analyzing it and trying to get it, right? Let's go out there and make it happen. That does not work for me personally. What I do is I receive my awareness of it. Okay, so I'm aware that I feel joy with this outcome that I'd like to experience. Now I rest in it and I lean into the energy of it. And typically at this point, I'm going to start getting some inspiration. I'm going to get inspiration of what I can do, where to go, who maybe even to talk to. I even open up to more possibility. I'm like, okay, I write down the options. Okay, I'm getting this idea. Maybe I'll do this. Is that joyful? Is this action joyful? Yeah, okay, I'm going to try that. I'm going to do an experiment on it. Maybe I get an inspiration. It's like, hey, wait and see what happens. So I'll write that down. Wait and see what happens. Sometimes I get the impression I just need to open up a little more. So I allow myself to explore that impression and see what it's like to receive a little more openness. Sometimes this is not a logical process. It's not even a rational process. Because what we're doing is we're intuiting into our desire. Because a lot of times the inspiration that leads us to what we want shows up in an intuitive way. It's not necessarily a rational, logical, cold process that way. It's more of a warm, alive process. This is fundamentally aligning you with your value, voice, and vision, by the way. So if you're working in the happiness strategy, these are all functional off those three principles of what's my value? My value is joy. What's the expression of that value? The voice of that value is joy, and that $4,000 is an expression of it. What's the vision of it? Oh, I see myself serving a particular person or particular type of person this way, or making this, since I'm in business, making this particular kind of offer. Oh, I'm going to try that. The idea here is whatever inspiration comes to you, do not treat it as though it must that must be the way it works, right? That must be the way it happens. You want to get curious instead. So receiving is largely about, I wonder how this will work. And then you go out and you do experiments on it. Hi, Michelle. Those experiments allow you to refine your awareness and your expertise about receiving your desire. Okay? So if this isn't just a set it and forget it kind of concept, sometimes that works. But I found more often than not, if I am emotionally and energetically open, my body feels open to receiving it, I'm more inspired in the action I take, which leads me to naturally receive that result. So I call it synchronicity. Boom. So that tends to make this a lot easier. And curiosity makes that entire experience easier because you're not making the outcome significant. You're not making it an absolute, this must work or bad thing happens. This is more like, I wonder how this will happen. I wonder how I'll receive it. I wonder how easily this can show up for me. I wonder how easily I can do these things, how joyfully I can do these things. We get playful with it because we have a huge amount of influence over the experience we have in creating and receiving the things we want in our life. This gets into a myth I call the myth of ease and the myth of hard or difficulty. A lot of times, the amount of ease or difficulty we experience in doing or accomplishing a thing largely has to do with how we're framing it. It's a mental experience. That mental experience creates an emotional reaction in our body of ease or difficulty, frustration and pain because of how we're interpreting the event. It's really, really important there. We leave the idea that things must be easy or things must be hard or things are easy or are hard, and we get into more of an observation of what we're doing and going, I feel this is difficult for me. I feel frustration in learning this new skill. It's very different than this is hard for me. Because when you can identify what you feel about a thing, you can actually release that feeling, meet the need behind it, whatever it requires for it to reach homeostasis or calm or peace. It becomes easier to do. Easier, as in there isn't resistance on the path, so it becomes more natural and aligned with your value, voice, and vision. So, little tidbits on how mindset actually has a huge amount of influence over the emotional experience we have in doing something, as well as the power we have in making things change in our lives by becoming open to receiving what we truly desire to experience. There's another secret in this, if you want to go a little deeper here, in the choose and receive concept. Now, what if I took the $4,000 element out and said, I would like to receive money joyfully? Then it becomes even lighter for my body. Because now I'm not fixated on a particular outcome or, trying to make things perfect or exact. Instead, I get to receive money joyfully. I just get to receive love joyfully, friendships joyfully, relationships, job opportunities. Like, I had a client text me yesterday, and she worked on this for a long time. So this doesn't happen overnight for a lot, some of the time. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I can't tell you how to fix that because I don't see it as a problem. I just see it as part of the path. But she'd been working on receiving a new job since the middle of November. And in late February, she got an awesome job, a job that she's loving and that she's enjoying. Well, yesterday she texted me and informed me that she's been promoted in this job to a position that's really aligned with the things that bring her joy. And it's something that she's been looking for a while. And so we started practicing this choosing and receiving approach, and it showed up. Okay, guys, right now a lot of us are experiencing job loss, financial stress, business stress, things like that. There's still opportunity out there. There is still opportunity to grow and receive what it is you desire, what it is you need. But if you use the choose and receive process, I choose what I need. Hopefully it's aligned with joy, so you're not stressing yourself out. And then you receive the inspiration that comes up with that. Because when you're regulated down, You got your anxiety mitigated down. You're open and in contact with yourself more. You're going to be able to be inspired to take action that will align you with the resources you want and need in your life to take care of yourself. That's the beauty of this. This has been a constant pattern in my own life. Every time I've gone out to try to find a job or find a client, it's become very difficult. But when I've opened up to receiving a job, receiving a client, receiving students, receiving whatever it might be, it works. Because I'm inspired to act in a way that puts me in alignment with those opportunities. Okay? So, there's a way to tap into your value, voice, and vision, into your intuition and brilliance with this system by choosing and receiving. I hope this makes sense. Let me know in the comments below if it does. Also, let me know if it doesn't, so I can clarify it. But guys, put this into use today. And one way I do this is with an affirmation that I got from a lady I follow pretty closely. Her name's Marilyn Janae. She wrote a book and created a system called Feel Free to Prosper. And she has this affirmation that you write out. And I really love this because it keeps me focused. And the affirmation is, I easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I am prepared to increase my income now. So I'll say that again, a little slower so you can write it down. I am prepared. I am easily accept new prosperity thoughts, and I am prepared to increase my income now. This little affirmation helps me focus my mind to, okay, yep, there's an abundance available. I'm willing to receive it. I'm prepared to receive more, and I'm prepared to do the work, the steps, the actions required in order to receive that. And now I can receive the inspiration that connects me with that. I'm prepared to do experiments. I'm prepared to discover this for myself. So this puts you in control. It puts you back in your power and in control of the things that are in your control. Because you're not in control of the economy. You're not in control of other people, right, and what they're going to give you. But you are in control of how you hold yourself, how open you are, what energy you choose, and what actions you take, and what experiments you do that get you what you desire. I have my clients do this religiously. And yes, I am prepared to increase my income now. Now relax into it. Open up to the inspirations that show up. You may have to do things you're not even comfortable doing or even know how to do yet. Try it out. Lean into it. Explore it. A lot of us have time on our hands. Let's get in there. Let's learn. Go to YouTube and Google the topic, or Google how can I do this, and look for experts in that arena and follow what they say. I mean, that's helped me out in a number of areas. So that's just a little tidbit, something to help you focus on bringing in more joy, more prosperity into the world, into your world, because you deserve it. Okay? I appreciate you guys. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. If you want to go deep on understanding and being your value, your voice, and your vision, really heal that codependency, heal that tangent of fear that keeps you controlled, hop into the happiness strategy, because that is where we accomplish this with value, voice, and vision. I lead you through those 3 steps, and boom, you start having experiences like my client to accomplish the things they want. Okay? Appreciate you. Stay safe, and I will see you guys for tomorrow's training. If you have a topic you want me to shoot at, just comment below. I'll be glad to shoot at that. Otherwise, I've got my list of topics. I'll choose what's inspiring and joyful to me, and I'll talk on that. Guys, I appreciate you. And remember, I've got your back in this. I'll see you tomorrow.